People turn into wild animals when the McDonald's Pokémon cards come out, even though they kind of suck. And there's a trick to see which cards are inside the pack without opening it. But the cards can sometimes be hard to find thanks to corrupt managers. And why are collectors paying so much for the French cards? Yeah, so there is a trick to see which card is inside the pack. Let me show you. These booster packs are made of paper, which is cheaper to produce, I'm sure, but has a pretty big fault. Light can pass through it. I'm using an older booster pack here, but as long as it's made of paper, this works. Since the holo foil is always the first card, it's pretty easy to turn off the lights and use your phone's light to see which hit is inside the pack. This is useful because you don't have to open the pack if you already have the holo. Unfortunately, dishonest resellers can take advantage of this little trick by keeping the Pikachus, Charizards, and Umbreons for themselves, but that's not the only obstacle we face when collecting these cards. So I'm sure I don't have to explain this, but the McDonald's Happy Meal comes with a toy. When I was little, my mom would sometimes order a single Happy Meal for my brother and I, but ask to purchase an additional toy so we wouldn't fight over the one. I spoke with the manager at one of my local McDonald's, and what I learned is that the rules surrounding the Happy Meal toy are set by the McDonald's restaurant manager or general manager. I think most will allow you to purchase an additional toy. That's pretty normal, I think, but some locations will let you purchase the toy without the Happy Meal. On top of this, the manager told me that they may or may not set a limit on the quantity of toys you can purchase. What I'm getting at here is that some people go to McDonald's on the first day and buy all the Pokemon cards, which I think is pretty messed up, and I'll tell you why. Historically, the McDonald's Pokemon cards haven't been good. No full arts, no EX, none of that stuff, and they're always reprints from the last year, sometimes with new holo patterns. Why? Because they're for kids. This is the same product design as the Trick or Trade Halloween cards, which contain boring, non-collectible cards, so the adults leave it alone, but sometimes they don't. The strategy here is to be first to market. This is a common reselling strategy where the first listings on the secondary market can charge a premium while supply is at its lowest and demand is at its highest. You might also notice sealed boxes for sale. These booster packs never had a chance to even see a Happy Meal since a restaurant manager either sold an entire box to a scalper or decided to reap the profits themselves. Thankfully, there are over 13,000 McDonald's locations in the US alone, so a few corrupt managers barely make a dent in the overall distribution. So the secondary market is going to have three options: buy a complete set, buy sealed packs, which may not contain a Pikachu if they've been checked, or buy a sealed box of packs, which is unethical. The most efficient thing to do here is trade. Most people are going to end up with a whole bunch of duplicates, and honestly, these cards are only worth $1 each or less, so others will be willing to help you out. Even after the McDonald's campaign is over, it shouldn't be difficult or expensive to find the cards, and this remains true for sets from the past. If, like me, you've developed an interest in the McDonald's Pokemon cards, they're pretty easy to collect, even the ones from 10 years ago. Here is my McDonald's binder, which is pretty sparse, I'll admit, but I just pick them up whenever they cross my path. Historically, the McDonald's sets have been comprised of 12 or 15 cards each. A few have gone up in price, but most are still just a few dollars, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna stay that way. McDonald's Pokemon cards started in Japan, and it took a few years before they went international, which happened in 2011 and again in 2012. Both are 12 card sets, and every card is a holo. By the way, if you're looking these up, each set is called the McDonald's Collection, followed by the year. Sets up to and including 2022 have a unique set symbol, but starting with 2023, they use an M with the year after it. And cards from the McDonald's collections only have the confetti holo pattern. The newer ones even have it on the borders. Looking at the 2011 and 2012 sets, they're pretty crappy. Sorry, but as a Gen 1 90s kid, most of these Pokemon don't appeal to me, but that's actually a good thing because the cards are cheap. However, there is something very important that I want to tell you if you want to collect these sets. When I first decided to buy some of these old McDonald's cards, I had an amazing idea. Instead of searching online for Pokemon cards specifically, I went on the hunt for old Happy Meal toys. This way, I could get the cards still sealed and maybe even at a discount price. So I found a listing for a lot of 5 Happy Meal toys and 2 were Pokemon for just $6. Well, the cards didn't come in booster packs back then. They were individually wrapped and just thrown in with the plastic toy. I'll say that again. The raw card was being tossed around with a hard plastic toy for 10 years before finally being purchased by me. The cards had some battle scars. So if you're gonna collect these older sets, make sure you're specifically searching for near mint cards. Anyways, after the 2011 and 2012 sets, there was a France exclusive set in 2013. 12 cards featuring Eeveelutions, actually. This set is one of the rare exceptions of McDonald's cards being boring. It is in fact not boring at all, and being exclusive to a single country, these cards are not only expensive but hard to find. France would go on to get more exclusivity in the future, but nothing quite as desirable as the 2013 set. On the English side of things, we didn't get a set for 2013, but we got one for every consecutive year, with the exception of 2020. The paper booster pack started in 2021, and this year they also went crazy with the set composition. Since it was the 25th anniversary, they released every starter Pokemon up until that point for a total of 25 cards, which is double the size of any McDonald's set before. However, they made a holo and non-holo variant for a total of 50 cards in the set. This was chaos, madness, and just sad, to be honest. I'm referring to the scalpers and employee corruption, by the way. Thankfully, every McDonald's set after this went back to the basic design, but the 2021 set was a wild time to be a collector. But we could have skipped it. Like, seriously, you could have just ignored the whole thing and then bought the complete set today for cheap. Prices haven't gone up in any meaningful way. Most of the cards are just under $1 on TCG Player, and a sealed pack is less than $3. Okay, just to prove my point, I added all 50 of the 2021 McDonald's cards to my shopping cart on TCG Player, and the total came to $46. Now, I didn't optimize the shipping, and I am in Canada, so there's that. But even then, the whole 50 card set for under $100 is pretty solid. The booster packs have one holo each, so you'd have to open a minimum of 25 with no duplicates to complete the set. This means that this set is cheaper now than it was 4 years ago. I know there's a lot of hype around the McDonald's Pokemon promos. I know it's exciting, I know it's fun, but if you're watching this and there's a McDonald's Pokemon card campaign happening right now, I don't want you to feel rushed or pressured to get the cards. If you like McDonald's, and you're going to go anyway, that's cool. I just don't want you to feel anxiety about missing out on these cards, because I've been there, and turns out, it wasn't even worth it.